In the dark of night, federal agents storm an old apartment building on Chicago's South Side.
We are learning about an overnight targeted immigration enforcement operation in the South Shore neighborhood. Can you tell us anything more about that operation?
They're a group of thugs. They come from Venezuela. They come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very dangerous people.
They are also saying that this is about Democrats wanting to give money or give health care to undocumented folks.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, that's what you're pushing on.
What did Senate Democrats ask for? Well, initially, they said that they wanted to shut down the government because Donald Trump was a dictator.
All right, guys. So Chicago is making national headlines, per usual. And this time, it is not the weekend crime tally. It is a massive raid. 37 members of a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, just got snatched up. Families on the South Side are relieved, but politicians, they're outraged because apparently actually locking up violent criminals is the problem now. Now, Donald Trump has actually warned us about this for I don't know how long. He's been talking about this forever. Over and over again, he's been saying that these violent criminals were being released out of jails of other countries and dumped into our country. And what did they do? They called him crazy. They called him a dictator. They called him a fascist. Meanwhile, Brandon Johnson is out here spinning his typical fear-mongering rhetoric, trying to get Chicagoans to back this nonsense. And you wouldn't even believe that this is actually connected to the government shutdown that is happening right now. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Carmen JC. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. Or if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. And don't forget, help us stay in the algorithm. Drop a comment, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so let's start with the facts. In the middle of the night, ICE carried out an operation right here in Chicago, and they arrested 37 Venezuelans. This wasn't random. This was a criminal sweep. And of course, you won't see the media celebrating that. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the coverage on that. So go ahead and take a listen.
In the dark of night, federal agents storm an old apartment building on Chicago's South Side. They had developed information that criminal illegal immigrants had taken the place over. So a joint operation with the FBI, ATF, Border Patrol, and ICE brought in federal manpower to take control of the apartment.
It's hard to see, but there's a helicopter right there on this building. And that helicopter has just inserted snipers for the protection of all these federal agents you can see entering the building. What they are after, 6 particular individuals associated with Tren de Aragua. They say these individuals are responsible for dealing in guns, long guns and handguns, as well as drugs. The helicopter is now just taken off. This is really an unprecedented show of federal force. Almost 300 agents coming to get control of this building and the people inside. They detained about 24 people, searching only apartments where no rent was being paid. So far, we don't know if they got the high-value targets they've been tracking. One guy did display a Tren de Aragua tattoo.
Now, while all this was happening at night, during the day, you had scenes where ICE agent was pulling up to Home Depot, which is known as a hangout spot for illegals. And let me be clear, this is strategic. They know exactly where to go. I showed up at Home Depot and started grabbing people. It was not pretty, and I am absolutely here for it. When you break the law, you face the consequences. That's what happened to American citizens every single day, and it shouldn't be any different for anyone else, let alone illegals. And not to mention, these people are taking jobs from the very people who actually live in these communities, which is predominantly Black communities. They're not in rich areas. They're in our communities. So, yes, I care about this, and I have something to say about it. But if you think that Brandon Johnson cares about the citizens of the city, you'd be wrong. He's out here defending illegals like they're victims, and he's saying that we don't want them gone, when clearly people in these neighborhoods do. Go ahead and take a listen to that.
Mayor, we are learning about an overnight targeted immigration enforcement operation in the South Shore neighborhood. Can you tell us anything more about that operation?
What we simply know is that, you have masked men with large weapons that are simply disappearing people from their homes. We're talking about children being stripped away from their parents. We're talking about workers that are being targeted. Just this last weekend, we had 2 public school teachers detained by ICE We had the incident that you just referred to in a suburb right outside of the city of Chicago. We had a CBS reporter who had pepper balls shot at her while she was just simply doing her job, and tear gas being spread throughout these individuals who are protesting and resisting these, what we are clear about, egregious acts and an overreach of the Constitution. And so we're very firm in the city of Chicago about protecting all residents, and I've put forth a couple of executive orders to do just that. There's no one in this city that believes that what this president is doing is on the behalf of working people in our city.
See, the problem I have with Brandon Johnson is the rhetoric he's using. He's calling these agents masked men as if they're some type of cartel, as if they're not serving their country or working for our government. That is deliberate. He's using this language on purpose because he wants you to feel like Donald Trump is a dictator. He wants you to be scared. That's what he wants, because this is exactly what they do. When you're scared, you're more likely to give up your rights. They want to fear you and scare you into submission, and we cannot let these people continue to do this to us. And just to drive this point home, I want you guys to go ahead and take a listen to this young lady who clearly have a different understanding than Brandon Johnson does. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
I'll tell you right now, I'm a person that lives on the south side of Chicago. I live in the area. If I call the police, they may take 40 to 50 minutes to come there, if they come at all. The mayor of Chicago, I'm not going to say his name, but Brandon Johnson, he has been the one electing and giving all these monies to migrants. But guess what? Just a couple of days ago, a guy was walking out of the gas station in out west Chicago, and he got over 100 shots to him. And that was 8 in the morning. Where were you at? You talk about what things that's happening in our neighborhood, but you want to put a Band-Aid and you want to act like this town is good. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how many people get killed in downtown Chicago every weekend. Don't board up things to put a Band-Aid on a crisis, because right now, I can guarantee you, and the people will hate that I say this, and I'm a Trump supporter, and they'll say what I want, but I follow Donald Trump, and I know that he is implementing a lot of things that can change this nation.
So clearly we're not seeing Chicagoans begging for more immigrants. People in the neighborhoods don't want them here. And if Brandon Johnson loves them so much, why won't he move them into his own home? Why won't he give up like some of his security or something so we can afford to have them? Because it's easier to play savior with other people's neighborhoods, other people's jobs, and other people's safety. Now, for a while now, Donald Trump told us that Venezuela was emptying their prisons, sending hardened criminals straight into our country, and he named them. They go by the name of Tren de Aragua. The media mocked him. They rolled their eyes. They called him crazy. They called him a dictator. But here we are in 2025, and the receipts don't lie. He was right. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
During the same period last year, Joe Biden released more than 184,000 illegal aliens into our country. Think of it. Many of these people were from jails and mental institutions, as I said. Since my inauguration, we've released a grand total of nine. And they were all, in all cases, medical emergencies. We did that for medical emergency reasons. Last month, we officially designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Now, the second that he said that, they launched a whole smear campaign against him, all because he was telling the honest-to-God truth. But what he said then is exactly what we're seeing now. Tren de Aragua is not some small neighborhood gang. This is a Venezuelan cartel-style operation that was born inside of the walls of a prison. And let me be clear, that prison wasn't just a prison. It was like a kingdom for criminals. Like, they had swimming pools, nightclubs, weapons, an entire criminal empire being run from behind bars. And by the time that the Venezuelan government finally raided it, Tren de Aragua already had its tentacles spread across Latin America, Colombia, Peru, Brazil, and yes, now even the United States. Now, obviously, this is very problematic for us here in the United States, especially for the sanctuary cities that are forced to deal with it. And when you have people gaslighting you, telling you that these people are seeking asylum, and when in reality they're hardened criminals that were released from prison, it's not going to be pretty for us. You can already see the proof of that if you just take a look at what happened in Colorado. These guys were literally taking over the apartment complexes with guns, and yes, they have it on camera. And they were saying that this didn't happen. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
At an apartment complex in Aurora, we see men there entering an apartment building with several weapons, then busting down a door. All of this taking place at the apartments, which have become a crime hotspot in that city.
Vicente Arenas was at that complex today as people were moving out, saying they were scared for their safety.
This video is significant. It is the first time that we are getting an up-close look at some of the things that were happening inside this building. You're going to see two different clips. In one, people carrying guns, and another, two guys trying to knock down a door.
The video shows a group of men walking up a stairwell at the Edge Lowry apartment complex in Aurora. All of them appear to be carrying rifles and handguns, and the video shot earlier this month. One of the men can be seen talking on a cell phone. They all then gather around a door and go in. Another video clip shows men forcing a door open. But what or who they were searching for, not clear.
And what ended up happening is that in August of this year, those same people were indicted, murder for hire, gun charges, drug trafficking, all serious charges. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the coverage on that indictment. Take a listen.
Announced charges against 30 defendants for drug trafficking, firearms trafficking, and murder for hire. These defendants include Tren de Aragua leaders, members, and associates. The charges include firearms trafficking, drug trafficking, and a barbaric murder for hire plot in which several of the defendants agreed to kill two people for $15,000 and return their severed heads as proof of the murders for just an extra $5,000. About 10 months ago, the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office asked for the ATF's help in responding to a spike in violent crime that was stemming from a particular apartment complex in their community. The ATF responded immediately and began a complex investigation which included extensive undercover operations and served to identify some of the people who were responsible for the increase in crime. As the investigation grew, so did the team that was committed to conducting it. The ATF invited the U.S. Attorney's Office, Homeland Security Investigations, and Drug Enforcement Administration to join them in this case.
But according to our media, this didn't happen. This didn't exist. Why? Why did they do this? Because they're lying to you. They don't have to live amongst these people. They don't have to deal with their neighborhoods being transformed or their culture being disrupted. That's why they do not care. So now if you don't think any of this directly affects you, you'd be wrong, because right now our government is shut down, and one of the reasons is because the Democrats are fighting to give health care to illegal immigrants. I am not kidding. While citizens can barely afford their own doctor visits, they're prioritizing people who aren't even supposed to be here. Now, Jasmine Crockett is going to give you the Democrats' argument on this issue. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the wonderful Jasmine Crockett.
All right, so Democrats have said, listen, too many people are going to be kicked off their health care. You already passed the big ugly bill that is going to take somewhere between 15 and 17 million people off of their Medicaid. And so you're pulling this $1 trillion out of the healthcare ecosystem. So everyone's healthcare is going up. It doesn't matter what kind of healthcare you have. Now you won't have that money paying into the hospital, paying into your doctor's office, and that kind of stuff. So everyone's healthcare costs are going up to the extent that some organizations have already shut down or announced that they're shutting down because of this. If you use things such as the Boys and Girls Club and they get money from the federal government, that money isn't coming right now. If you use things such as Head Start usually gets a decent amount of money from us. That money now is not coming under this shutdown. So these are some of the things that are going on. I just kind of wanted to give a general overview.
And she's also going to tell you why this is not about illegal immigrants or undocumented, as she likes to call them. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
They are also saying that this is about Democrats wanting to give money or give health care to undocumented folk. Just to be clear, I don't know that undocumented folk are showing up to try to get health insurance that it is illegal for them to get in the first place. Because last time I checked, a lot of them are not showing up to work. Heck, documented people aren't showing up to work because they're afraid because of what ICE has been doing. So I'm not really sure who is really on risk at all for that. Like that just doesn't make sense. That's not what it is. That is against federal law. We are not trying to implement a new federal law that would somehow legalize this. This is about our constituents and, frankly, more of their constituents than ours.
And it's not just Jasmine Crockett running this game. It is also Maxine Waters. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what she had to say.
Do Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown? Because if the government does shut down, American
Excuse
employees are going to
me,
be furloughed.
stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
But aren't Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, that's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it. Stop it. This is the kind of journalism we don't need.
No, I'm just
You're
asking
divisive.
questions.
No, you're not.
Yeah, no,
You're being divisive. No, please. You don't need to ask that question. You're just trying to get controversy here. You're not going to get it from me. We want to save health care for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Appreciate it.
Now, obviously, J.D. Vance is going to give us a more nuanced answer to what is actually going on and actually debunk all of their nonsense. So let's go ahead and take a listen to J.D. Vance in his own words. Take a listen.
What do Senate Democrats ask for? Well, initially, they said that they wanted to shut down the government because Donald Trump was a dictator. Okay, that's absurd. Then they said they wanted to shut down the government because they wanted hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. That, of course, is also absurd. And now they're saying they just want to work on ensuring that Americans have low-cost health care. Well, I agree with them. Of course, we all want to ensure that Americans have low-cost health care, so let's work together on that. You don't shut the government down. You don't take the government as a hostage because you want to engage in a negotiation about health care costs. Let's do that negotiation, but let's do it in the context of actually opening the government and ensuring those essential services are actually provided to the American people.
Now, I don't think these illegals should be getting any health care, not even one bit. They come over here and their population growth is skyrocketing. If you don't think that's a problem, just look at the numbers. Black people have been here long before Hispanics, and yet they've already outpaced us in population. That's how fast this shift is happening, and that's how much they've taken over. Like, look at California. Can we be honest? It is basically Mexico at this point. And to me, like, it is a problem because we don't live in Mexico. We live in America. Now, my question is this. Why are there so many Black people out here advocating for illegal immigrants? Because they don't advocate for the problems happening right in the Black community. Can somebody please explain this to me? Illegal immigrants are walking into this country and they're getting cars, they're getting housing, they're getting money, basically like everything they need to survive. Meanwhile, the people that are in these communities, actual citizens who have been here for hundreds of years, who can't even get a fraction of that. To me, that is disgusting, and I find the so-called Black leaders to be disgusting too because they don't care about Black people at all, like not even a little bit. So I'll be the bad guy if I have to. I'll take the heat. You can call me the bad guy all day long. I do not give a damn because I am not going to sit here and play along with this clown show. That's what it is. It is disgusting, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching these so-called Black leaders, Al Sharpton, Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, all of them. They look the other way while our people suffer. I am sick of it. Now, I'm okay with being the bad guy. I am okay with having to say the uncomfortable things, the things that other people don't want to say, because somebody has to if we're ever going to move forward. I live amongst Black people my entire life. I've seen it firsthand. I've watched the people I know die at the hands of their own people. I've watched people overdose and die because of drugs. I've seen all of this dysfunction play out in the Black community, and nobody does anything about it. Nobody even says anything about it. And now it is completely out of control. Meanwhile, I'm tired of all these resources being poured into degenerates who come into our country illegally and commit crimes, while the people who have been here for generations, surrounded by crime, get nothing. It is the hypocrisy for me. Now, as a culture, especially Black culture, we have to do better. And white people, we got to stand strong too, because this isn't just a Black problem. This is going to tank the entire country. The media has everybody distracted. A lot of people aren't keeping up, so they think I'm being too harsh or insensitive. But no, I understand what is happening in this country. A lot of people need to wake the hell up before it is too late. And let me be clear, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to tell you guys the truth. We are headed somewhere very dangerous if we don't get it together. We're moving into a world where tech is going to be controlling us. And right now, with all the changes happening, we need to be aware of that. We need to understand technology and how it's going to be used to monitor us, our spendings, our freedom, our speech. We cannot be distracted by things that keep us divided. I kid you not. This is not about race. This is about power. It is about us versus them. The people versus the elite at the top. Not left versus right. Not black versus white. Us versus the ones pulling the strings. I am Carmen JC. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. Also, please help us stay in the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing. And I also want to hear what you guys have to say. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.
Conscious culture, we awaken and we learn. Fire in our spirits, watch the system as it burns. Question every lesson, let the real truth return. We break the mold, and now it's our turn.